Omega level, omega level, omega level.
Omega level.
Omega level. Omega level.
Welcome to Omega Level. I'm Nick. I know I haven't been around too much lately. I've been kind of taking a larger behind-the-scenes role, but I had to do this quick video about Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker. The teaser trailer just came out like earlier this morning, and I just had a chance to watch it, and I had a couple thoughts that I wanted to share about it, a few theories, if you will. So I know there's been a whole like big to-do about people that certain fans were unhappy with the events of Episode 8, The Last Jedi. And a lot of those fans are upset that Luke Skywalker, with the path they decided to take with Luke Skywalker, right? And some people were upset with the path they took with Rey's parentage, in fact, and with dealing with the fact that Kylo told her that her parents were nobodies, right? That she's a nobody, right? In the grand scheme of this whole Skywalker saga, she doesn't fit in because she's not a Skywalker. And now that J.J. Abrams is back doing Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker, it's a popular theory that he is going to retcon a bunch of things from Episode 8. And I do think that that is partly true. I don't think it's going to happen in the way that we are expecting it to. And what I mean by that is, I believe that there is evidence throughout 7 and 8 that 9... I believe there's evidence in 7 and 8 that is going to show us what's going to happen in 9. So what I mean by that is, my biggest number one theory for 9 right now, like snap judgment theory just off watching the trailer once, is that Rey is a creation. She is a Force creation just as Anakin was, right? Anakin had like a birth mother, right? Someone who carried him in the womb and birthed him, but he is a Christ-like figure in the fact that she had like an immaculate conception, and I believe that we're going to get along largely the same thing from Rey. So what this means is that Rey was a creation just like Anakin was. At the end of this new trailer, we hear Palpatine, Darth Sidious, we hear his laugh at the very end of it, which means he is still around in some capacity. Is he a Force ghost? Was he actually Snoke? Is he body jumping? Are they borrowing from the legacy from the extended Star Wars universe that's no longer now canon, but in that he could body jump? Are they borrowing from that now? Can he now do that? Is he still alive? I mean, it's very possible. He's around 80 years old at the end of Return of the Jedi when he is killed, and there's a 30-year time gap between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, so he would be about 110-ish years old right now, and his master, Darth Plagueis, lived for a long, long time, and part of the reason, a major reason for that, was because of his control of the Force, and he was able to extend his own life. It is said that Plagueis taught Sidious everything he knew, that Sidious, Palpatine, learned everything he could from Plagueis, and then he killed Plagueis while Plagueis was sleeping. If Sidious learned everything he could, then he would know how to extend his own life, whether that's through body jumping or... it would have to be through body jumping because they killed the physical body of Palpatine, right? And that would mean that he body jumped into Snoke, something he had already planted off in another far reach of the galaxy, like ready to jump into, and maybe he's jumped into something else for Episode 9 now, or he was a Force ghost in the shadows just influencing Snoke, and now he's influencing someone else in 9. But anyways, I think that he created Rey, right? Anakin was created by Palpatine and by Sidious and Plagueis as an attempt to create the ultimate Sith being. But the Force itself pushed back against that, and they created the perfect equal in Anakin. I think that happened again. Sidious tried to create the perfect Sith being, and the Force again pushed back and created the perfect equal. It created Rey. This is why Rey fights with anger. This is why Rey also fights in a style very similar to Sidious. She does the lunging move that Sidious does, and like I said, she fights with anger. Like, you can visibly see that. She gets very vengeful while she fights. She was a creation by Sidious, a Force creation. This is why Anakin's lightsaber called out to Rey, not because she is a Skywalker, but because her and Anakin were both Force creations. Kylo did not lie about Rey's parentage. What he saw, his vision, what he saw was Rey being sold off by two people for drinking money, by two drunks, and they went off and they died. The woman that would have sold him, the man and woman, the woman that would have been with them would have been like her birth mother, but it's not actually her parents because she's a Force creation, right? So he didn't necessarily lie. That's just all he could see. When Rey in The Last Jedi attempts to try, when she's in the Sith cave, when she attempts to try to find her parents and the vision and see who they are, and she is only shown herself. This is because she is singular. She is of her own bloodline, essentially, in the fact that she was a Force creation just as Anakin was. So what it showed her wasn't a lie. She just didn't know how to interpret it yet. She's a singular thing, right? She is the one now, again. I think in 9, we're going to get that. We're going to get that Rey is a Force creation, right? And I think it's possible that Sidious is still around as a Force ghost, and so is Luke. Like, he'll be a Force ghost now as well. Like, no one ever really dies, or nothing ever really dies, is what they said in the trailer. So maybe we're going to get some kind of, like, epic spiritual Force battle between these two Force ghosts. Maybe like Luke is around helping Rey, and Sidious is still around helping either Kylo or somebody else, and maybe that's what like turns Kylo. He realizes, oh, he's just a pawn in this grand scheme, and that's why he wants to turn on Sidious. Like, it's been Sidious's entire mission to just wipe out the Skywalkers, to eradicate them, and he's been using Kylo to do that. Maybe he'll finally realize that and turn good. Maybe he never does turn good, and he's the one being influenced, and Rey has to defeat him. I don't know, but it's the Rise of Skywalker. The title's kind of a red herring, but it's also kind of not. It's the Rise of Skywalker. It's the rise of Luke Skywalker finally overcoming and defeating Sidious once and for all, and defeating the Sith. That's what it's going to be. And he's going to be through Rey that he does that. And it's possible, too, that Sidious also is still alive in physical form. He's been body jumping. He body jumped to Snoke and got killed, and then he body jumped into someone else, so Rey's going to have to kill that someone else he's in again, and while he body jumps, Luke is going to have to, like, interfere and stop him in, like, the Force Ghost realm and fight him and defeat him there. Like, all that potentially could be true. Or it's also very possible that we get I believe, the more uninteresting route, and that Rey is a Skywalker, that she ends up being Kylo's sister or his cousin, and that's why he will turn to the good side and help them defeat Sidious. I really hope that's not the route they go. I think it's a very logical route that Rey's a creation, which is also a reason I believe it may not happen. Again, I don't know. I haven't said this yet, but I don't know any of this for fact. This is all just stuff that I've thought of, and some of my friends and I have talked about it some. So like, I don't have any inside information, so don't take any of this as factual. Take it all with a grain of salt, but I just thought it was a pretty cool theory, and people might enjoy it. So let me know in the comments, what do you think? Let's get this discussion for Star Wars Episode 9. Let's get the hype going now. Let us know what you think in the comments. Make sure you like and subscribe for more content as well. Thank you.